Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Shreddy Roosevelt's Shreducational System. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about guitar melody techniques. You may be asking, well, what is a guitar melody technique? Well, I have a whole list of definitions right here. In this video, I'm only going to be getting into the first five. So that's going to be vibrato, hammer-ons and pull-offs, aka legato, bends, glissando, which is a slide, and then some natural harmonics. If you guys want to pause the video, you can take a second and go ahead and write these down. That might help you out. But otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and proceed on. Okay, so what is the purpose of a guitar melody technique? So let's start with the melody that we were doing in the basic melody video, which was this first part of the phrase, and then this. So in some of those, I'm already doing some guitar techniques. I did a slight vibrato there at the end. I'm doing some sliding. So we'll kind of use that as a basis to understand these techniques. So I'm going to start with vibrato. So here on the G string on the 14th fret, I'm going to play this A note, and I'm just going to add a nice warm vibrato. Sorry it's cutting out a little bit. I have my noise suppressor on because otherwise this Telecaster is going to feedback just a little bit, get some nasty hum. So let's take a line like this, and at the end what I'm going to do is add a vibrato. So I'll play it first just straight, no vibrato. Okay, now I'll play it with vibrato. So as you can see, the vibrato kind of adds a emotional singing sort of quality, and it's just really great for emphasis of a note, again adding warmth, and it's a cornerstone technique to playing guitar. So anytime you're playing, like say like a little pentatonic lick, like, you can add vibrato right there. You can do it on any note. I always like to do it on the tonic itself. I feel like it kind of adds to the sense of resolution. And oftentimes when you are playing leads, you're trying to imitate what a vocalist or perhaps a horn player would do, and they tend to use vibrato in the same manner. So you'll have success just sticking with the tonic, but feel free to experiment as much as you can. So the next technique that we're going to have is going to be a hammer-on and a pull-off. So let's take this lick here. So what if when transferring, well, I'm already kind of pulling off, but let's just really exaggerate it. So we'll go, and I'm going to pull off onto this note here, the G string, the 12th fret from the A to the G. That's a pull-off. I only pick the 14th fret and pull off to sound the 12th fret. And then what I'm going to do is hammer on up here on the 14th fret. Now let's say that we added a note before this E here on the D string. Let's play the D on the 12th fret so we can hammer on. So that would look like, play that again. We're going to pull off, then we're going to hammer on. And that's part of something called legato. Legato would be something like this, where I'm trying to have a more seamless transition from note to note, and I'm really just picking the first note. Okay, the next technique that we have is a bend. So let's say we take this vibrato and we're going to turn it into an actual bend. So instead of, let's bend it to the next note. So from here to here, we'll go and bend it back down. If you're going to do an exaggerated bend, you're going to want to get in the habit of kind of muting the strings around it. So if I am going to hit a note here on the G string, what I'm going to do is try to kind of silence the other strings with my fingers. Of course, I didn't do a good job during the demonstration, and you don't always have to. I mean, Man, what an out of key bend there. But as you can see, if you are wanting to really have some control, like, oops, you kind of use your fingers to keep the other strings quiet. And you know, bends are useful. Again, like I say, pentatonic lick. So, anyway, that's bending. You just bend the string. Another note, when you're bending, oftentimes, especially if you're more here in this area of the neck, what you can do is let the neck kind of fight back to its balance point. It can, let's see, if I can kind of demonstrate that. You should be able to see in your screen that the neck is moving like this, and I'm kind of holding the string down once I start the motion, and the guitar is rocking around a little bit. So that's something you'll see people do as well. Okay, glissando. That's a glissando. That's a slide. You don't always exaggerate it like that. So they're really useful, in my opinion, just from getting from one place of the neck to the other. So let's say you're doing an E minor lick down here, which is, again, the relative minor of G major. So see how I went from here? I just slide up here. And then I can start playing in another position, just essentially moving from the 7th position to the 12th position. And it just adds a little bit extra character. People are used to hearing slides, so feel free to use them and get creative with where you want to put them in your playing. So it looks like the last essential expressive technique that we're going to cover is going to be harmonics. Now, I apologize in advance because, as you can see, there's not a humbucker in this guitar, and the grounding's a little, so when I let my fingers off, there may be some popping. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to the hotter pickup of the Telecaster, so it'll pick up these tones. And this is a harmonic. So what I'm doing is, instead of fretting the string directly over top of the string, I'm going to place my finger there and very light pressure, just enough to touch it, but not enough to make it move any. And when I strike the string, I'm going to let off. You can kind of hold it there for a second, and it'll still go. So don't feel like you have to go flying off or anything, but hit it and let it ring. You're going to have some really good sounding, easy to grab harmonics here on the 12th, the 7th, and the 5th frets. Now, you technically have harmonic content everywhere on any string. But you can get some kind of strange harmonics as well on like the 2 and 7th 8th fret, which is here. Right here on the like 4th and, I don't know, 5/8 fret. And then as you go up here, say the 7th fret, which would be the 19th fret here, because it starts over at the 12th fret. You can grab them anywhere you can from here to here as well. It's the exact same up here. So guys, that concludes the first in a 3-part series on guitar melody techniques. These are essential expressive techniques. So feel free to, as you're working on melodies like we saw in that first basic melody video, go ahead and just experiment with some slides, some bends, some hammers and pull-offs, and let's see what kind of creative things you guys can do. As always, the link to the visualizer will be in the description. Always remember to like the video, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And thank you so much. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.